Okay, what's going on, sports world? The battle of the ages is shaping up between two Goliaths, and it is all about NCAA amateur sports. The state of California versus the NCAA, the National Collegiate Athletic Association, the mafia, the mob of sports, the behemoth, $2.5 to $3 billion they rake in. The NCAA. I'm not talking about from academics. I'm not talking about from yachting, rowing, volleyball. I'm talking about the athletes that bring in the money. Football, basketball. That's it. That's what brings in the money. College, NCAA. There's a battle brewing right now. The state of California stepped up, realized something ain't right. Something must be done. The state of California, the state senate, and the assembly, made up of both Republicans and Democrats, unanimously passed legislation that would allow collegiate athletes to benefit from their skills and talents while they're in school and playing sports by way of endorsements. This is not true. We're not talking about taking money from the NCAA. We're not talking about them having to share their $3 billion. No. The legislation is not about forcing the school to even share some of that ill-gotten money, mafia money, loan sharking-like activities, hamstrung these young men and women who are packing stadiums and selling out and getting you lucrative TV contracts. And you NCAA executives are living on the hog, living like superstars, yachts, and all kinds of lavish living. Coaches getting paid, Nick Saban, $5 million a year. And that's just base salary. Come on. Come on. You got athletic directors, some of them at the top schools making 7 figures. We're not talking 6 figures. We're talking $1 million plus. Athletic directors, y'all. Come on. Come on. Meanwhile, for that athlete, he cannot work. Literally. It doesn't say that in his paperwork. It doesn't say that in his acceptance letter that you cannot work. You're just supposed to play sports all year round. So the sports season is only this quarter, this semester, and then you're free to do as you will. BS, bullshit, in other words. They are not free to do as they will. When you play football for collegiate, for any program, even in Division 1, Division 3, and no division at all, you're playing the sport all year round. In addition to the requirements of a certain minimum grades, you must also perform. You see, they say you're getting a scholarship. You get a scholarship. You get a scholarship. You cannot work. You got athletes living on other people's couches. Some of these athletes, and look, when you are most white athletes, I ain't gonna lie, they come from good homes. Their parents got money. Their family got money. They don't have to worry about sleeping on couches when they get to college. There was already, some of them, money saved up for them to go to college with. Come on, let's talk. But that, oh my goodness, that young African American from the hood, even some from the burbs, they cannot afford to go 4 years and not working, even if they got free scholarship. The scholarship pays for books sometime and courses. It pays for that. It doesn't pay for you to go out with your friends. It doesn't pay for you to go out to the amusement park. You cannot get that. It doesn't pay for you to go watch pro sports. In fact, former NCAA, former college star, and I think played for Arizona, and sports commentator and former NCAA, an NBA star, Richard Jefferson, recently was talking about how he received a call and a letter from the NCAA for potential investigation for violation of the rules. The rules, okay? What did he do? Richard Jefferson, on one of the shows, I'm not sure which one it was, but Richard Jefferson said that the rule he violated, wait for it, the rule he violated was that, or allegedly violated, was that a friend of his, the dad of a friend of his, had tickets to, I believe, was it a game or a concert? Maybe a concert, I'm not sure, but there were tickets to an event. And Richard was invited along. The tickets were complimentary. You're just going to, innocent. You want to show your friend, say, I got a ticket. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, okay, shit. You're a college student, you're broke. You're not allowed to work. Even though you're helping the colleges, the AG, the executives of the divisions in the league, the conferences, they all make beaucoup money, 6 figures, 7 figures. And you cannot even accept tickets to an event. It's a violation. It's a violation. Come on. What is that? It's not a violation. It's a plantation system. Come on. Let's call it what it is. It's a plantation system, people. So, let's get back to California. That's what we're talking about. But you have to understand why the NCAA is so opposed to these kids making any kind of money. Huh? Are they too young? 18 years old, too young to make money? You've seen tennis. And literally, any age you're at, you can go if you can make it. You can golf. You can make it. If you make it, you can go. You can go make your money. Baseball. They draft you straight out of high school. You go in there. If you're good, you can swing the ball. If you have a 95-mile-an-hour pitch, you're going to make $3 million, $10 million right there at the age of 18. Yachting, rowing, shooting. You get it? Surfing. X Games. You see the X Games. There's a lot of young kids, mostly white. And there's the thing. Certain sports, not just at the NCAA level, but the amateur designation of sports in relation to how people, whether or not people should be paid, seems to be dictated by the dominance of certain race of people within that sport. It's a plantation system, people. Come on. Football, basketball bring in the most money. Kind of like, let's be frank, slavery. You had to pay for nothing for the athletes. You get them a little bit. Yeah, you fed them. Even the master fed them. They fed them. They gave them shelter. In exchange, they worked. The master didn't give them no fee, no money, no cut of the profits that came in from the crops. Nothing from the sale of the cotton. Nothing. Nothing from picking nothing. Nothing from laboring. Nothing from building. Nothing from selling everything the slaves built. Nothing from building the White House. They didn't get a cut of none of the profits. Nothing. You feel me? What's the difference? The majority of the players in the NCAA at the collegiate level for the sports that bring in the billions of money, the money that keeps them filthy rich. How does some of these schools have like 60 billion sitting aside? Yet, a ticket to an event is a violation of the rules. Come on. Something's not right. All right. In comes the state of California. The assembly, by unanimous vote of the legislature, both houses, Republicans, Democrats alike, agreed unanimously that players should be allowed, if nothing else, to make some kind of money from their talent, their name, their likeness, from endorsing products, whether they use it or what. But this is commerce. This is America. This is a way that you cannot block somebody from making a living beyond scholarship. Who does that? Some of these young people coming from, even some of the rural kids, also have suffered by this. Don't get me wrong, not just people of color, but the majority of the people, players in NCAA football and basketball, are majority African American. No doubt. That's a fact. Go look it up. I'm not making it up. Why do I make it up? You know how to look it up, yo. Why? Some of these kids come from horrendous situations. In the NBA, they make up this archaic BS rule, one and done. You can go there, so the star must be forced to go to the school, help the school make a lot of money that year, and then the same school's recruiting the top players every year, so the revolving door, the rich gets richer. The kid came in 1 year, boom. How about those who go through for 4 years, no point, can't get into the pros, they don't have that much talent. Less than 2% of all collegiate athletes will ever see the pros, and all those who come into the league, less than 10% of those last more than 3 years in the leagues. What happened, NCAA? What happens to those children, those young men, after the lights are out? What do you do for them? What do you do for them? Absolutely nothing. You use them, you dump them. You discard them. They make you all that money. They help you get your mansions. They help you travel and see the world. It's a lifestyle most of you are used to. Executives of the NCAA. You love what they do. You're forcing them to serve you. You're forcing them to slave for you. Come on. Why are you so mad if the state and the country wants these young men to make a living? What is so wrong with that? What is so wrong with that? You've yet to satisfactorily answer that question. You haven't. You keep going back to the rules and how it violates the rules. Well, you put the rules in place. You lobby Congress to make an exemption, carve you out a special place where the antitrust and the labor laws don't apply to these athletes, these young men. Why? You say, oh, it apply to all sports. Well, that ain't apply to all sports. BS. Because the two sports that bring this type of money, billions of dollars that you all are paying yourselves lavishly and living well with, is from the sweat, blood, and labor of these young men and women in basketball. And then in football, these young men, something like 65% or more of the young football players in college are African American. In basketball, something like 80%. And the top tier colleges are African American. Plantation system, y'all. Let's say it for what it is. Don't buy the BS excuses anymore. They need to stop it. Young Kobe Bryant went in the game, went in the league, and did what he had to do. He was better at 18 than most 10-year vets. He's great. He played at a Hall of Fame level, even from the age of 18 when he entered the league. So did LeBron James, Kevin Garnett, all these young players who showed they belonged, they were ready. However, the NCAA was losing a lot of money when these young players, if they skipped the colleges and not even make a stop, then they have a problem at the collegiate level. It's a collusion type thing. Something's wrong with that. In the land when we have capitalism, when you're supposed to be able to earn according to your abilities. If the market wants you, they're supposed to be able to get you. You're over 18. Why should anybody force you to make a different route? Go somewhere first. Go make us rich first over here. Our partners over there, go make them rich first. And then get your you know what behind over here in the pros. But what if that young man don't make it to the pros? What do y'all do to them? What do y'all do with them? Do they get health care for life? What if they suffer catastrophic injury while playing for your wealth, while playing for your mansion, while playing for your Lexus, your Mercedes, your Beamer, your fast cars, your travel through exotic places? What happens to them? What happens to their family when something happens to them? Come on. That's what it's all about. So California says these young men should have the right to earn from their own name and likeness. The NCAA comes back with a response. Well, that would interfere with interstate commerce. That's what the lawyer for the NCAA came back with. California is attempting to resolve an injustice in the labor laws that allows for an organization who's exempt from the laws, labor laws, and the antitrust laws of this country just to exploit a bunch of young black men mostly. That's what they're doing. Poor children, poor young men who could be in the workforce, who could go out and help their mamas and their daddies and their families and their sisters and their brothers have a better life. You are forcing them to go do something that is totally unnecessary. Last year, Zion, Duke, forced to go there for 1 year. We saw live TV took a catastrophic a spill that could have ended his career if his knee popped. He's said to be, there's rumored that he will be the first like straight up billionaire from just his salary alone. And endorsements, he might be like a $5 to $10 billion man by the time he's done with sports. And boom, shoe splits open and he takes a spill and has to leave the game on a limp. You see, what would happen to that young man if he could never play the game again? What? NCAA. So California seeks to remedy the situation. And they say, well, you don't have to pay them nothing if you don't want to, because you find these loopholes and you've bought some Congress and some statutes to help you, that shield you from doing justice by these players that you're using like a plantation system. Massas. You see what I'm saying? And so California says, well, hey, if Madden want to go straight to this star running back at the college and say, hey, Mr. Running Back, we wanna put you on the cover. We wanna use you to endorse this next game for the college game. All you students that we use on the college version of our games, we're gonna give you X amount of money until you're done with college or for the life of the game. Whatever. If somebody wants to do that, why not? If somebody wants to go to a star athlete in college right now and say, hey, you're too good, you're so good right now, we want to give you $500,000 or $50,000 to wear our shoes. What's wrong with that? There's a chance he may never see the pros. There's a chance she may never see the pros. There's definitely a chance. Excuse me, she may never see the pros. The NCAA is greedy. They want to keep it all for themselves. They want to keep these young athletes enslaved. They want to hold them. They want to make them do something that's totally unnecessary. Excuse me. In order to benefit themselves. It's not right. It's time to end it. California is right. NCAA says against it's potentially unconstitutional due to the implications and effect on interstate commerce. Which basically, interstate commerce is a part of the Constitution that basically the federal government regulates interstate commerce in order to keep commerce floating. And so if each state had their own patches of laws, it could be problematic for the flow of commerce throughout the country. In the synopsis, that's what it is. However, the NCAA could change its rules to adopt California's laws, which California is a huge populous state. It's got a lot of colleges. The NCAA threatened California with not allowing if the law goes into effect, basically, not associating or recognizing any of these colleges in California for NCAA purposes or be invited to any tournaments. So they're threatening. They're threatening the state of California, which has passed the law unanimously. The NCAA is lobbying the governor not to sign the bill. Why? Why so much against these young men who most of them will never become millionaires, ever? 90-something% of them will never see the pros. What's so wrong when you're making nearly $3 billion from them? They're not even asking for the piece of that pie, which you should be giving to them, instead of spending it on yourselves and your lavish living on your 6 and 7 figure salaries. But here, it's for whoever wants to retain their services, whoever wants to use them to sell products or services. It's up to them. This is the American way. Why are you putting the cuffs on them? Why are you putting the noose on their necks? That's what they are. That's what you're doing. The NCAA is fighting this. It will destroy amateur competition. It will destroy the system that we have set up. Yeah, even slavery had to be destroyed. Come on. Jim Crow had to be destroyed. Huh? What do you want? It's unjust, NCAA. Get over it. End it. Stop it. Stop using these young men like they're your fucking... Excuse me. They're not your slaves. They're not your hoes. Time to stop, NCAA. Lead them. Leave them be. If somebody wants to pay them to do anything, leave them be. End the plantation system. End the slave treatment. End the whipping. And get the noose off of around their necks. Okay? They're not your you-know-what. So, I believe California is going to prevail in this battle, and this is going to spread throughout the country. The NCAA, if you don't find a way to allow this to happen, I think you're going to get run over. And that will be a glorious day, because you've raped and assaulted and humiliated these young people long enough. We know you use them and discard them. Only the best of the best get a chance to even move on. And you don't care whether or not they get an education in the end. Because when they flunk out of school, when the camera's off and they've done with their eligibility, 4-year eligibility of playing sports, y'all don't do nothing for them. You don't care for them. You don't care about their mama, their dada, their children, their nothing. That's what's called plantation system, bro. Come on. That's a wrap. Next time. Peace. Amani.